Okay.
Hi, good afternoon. Let me wipe my hand first. If you have this alcohol wipe, this is really good. I'm going to disinfect the hand. Today's topic is kind of good for the season. To cut or not to cut on the phalaenopsis, whether it is standard, novelty. And many of you probably were interested in the one that I show you, the one that had the multiple print. Yes, there is only one print only, and with 31 spikes on it. Hello, Jamie. What's Jamie doing here?
Hi.
Oh, you want to do my talk?
Sure. I miss you guys all. Been being contractor 5 days
She
a
have a
week.
big project.
We're remodeling the whole unit. It's going to be only 1 month. I have never seen it done that fast. But anyway, we're doing what not to cut.
Yes.
Well, I
Go,
do
go.
want to say,
What?
do cut.
These are orchids,
Depend
not
on
2x4s.
depend on
We're not
situation.
talking about
2x4s?
cutting 2x4s
I know,
with
right
now I'm
structural
talking 2x4.
engineers and all that
But
stuff.
I do want to say you do have to cut because I blew one plant to death. I literally,
Yes.
literally blew it to death. If you're pushing for 1 flower, 2 flower, please just cut it off.
Yeah.
Um,
Okay, let's
Yeah.
talk.
Okay, I just want to say hi. Sorry. Bye.
Okay. So I'm going to leave that one that have multiple print. It can be done. It's actually kind of fun. A lot of work. You can actually do it as a project, science project for yourself. And so let me give you an example. Jeff, we're going to show you this. A lot of the print, the Valencia. Look at this one here. Many of the novelty genetically will have basal at base. If you look at this one here, this is Ishin's Venice. It's one of the fragrant one, and this have a lot of Phalaenopsis violacea and bonina in there. So what happened with the print physiology is, imagine what we have the last in the summertime with a warm day and warm night, okay? And so sometimes the print got confused that we have a really hot summer. So the night temperature may be 70 or 75 at night. So sometimes they might want the basal here was actually trying to trigger the flower. Maybe they wish to have a late cool season at night back in the May. So they were the meristem, the apical point down there, they can either go up to become a spikes like this, okay, or because of temperature, okay, the vegetative stage of the Phalaenopsis, or even for most of the vegetation is warm day, warm night, and long day. Guess what? They tend to give you the cakey basal, okay? In particular, if you have the Phalaenopsis bonina, emboliensis in the background, okay? Where is my bonina? Okay, okay. This is the prime example of, this is true species of bonina. Okay, they happen that I did some manipulation. You can actually trigger to artificially have multiple plant. Okay, if your grandson or daughter need a science project, okay, all you have to do is get my Norman's Ultimate Cakey Paste and do it in the summertime, and I will show you later. So some plants do have genetically will have the basal already. So it's kind of fun. This is all natural trigger. So tomorrow, sometime if you podcast with it, I'm gonna have some release some of this podcast. Norman's podcast tomorrow. Sometimes Jamie might offer them with multiple print. When they have multiple print, all this basal print eventually will become another. They clone themselves. Okay, Phalaenopsis usually are monocot. Monocot means they go up. They rarely have the basal shoot running like just like Cattleya or Oncidium, but they do that occasion. There's always an exception in life. Okay, so that is make it so fun. All right, so something like this, they either have one or two. Okay, as long as the plant are healthy and strong, leave it alone. But make sure you feed them. Okay, remember now, they actually carry two baby, almost like they are carry a twin plant. Someone have two shoe or three shoe. So make sure you do not mix the feeding, because later on, a plant like this, another 6 to 8 months, they will be just like this. Is another plant. Look at this one. The basal keiki is actually a strong, almost the same size as the mother plant. Okay, so this one here, the mother plant already starting out spiking. By next year, this will become two plant. Okay. Okay. Now, there's two ways I can do this. Remember the plant have multiple plant? Okay. I have two plant here. This plant is a candidate. Okay, I'm going to leave this alone because these are two spike and just flower. But you got to sacrifice the flower spike. Even though this is fall right now, like if it's like sunny, you have, for those of you have the bottom heating, okay, in order to trigger the basal vegetation is what? Warm day, warm night, and long day. So you only do this, what I'm going to do, when you have under light, and prefer the Jeff light, okay, minimum 12 hours, and night temperature, you can actually, let's do an experiment, crank up that small session, okay, to 70 degrees at night. So it's just like summertime, okay. All right, because the reason I say that, because fall is coming for a lot of your area. So if you're in the East Coast, your temperature is going to dip really fast, even in the house. So if you want to do this, okay, I am just cut off the spike. That's it. Okay, pinch off the spike. I don't need to frame it because I just wipe out my hand with the alcohol. Okay. Okay. So what do I do next? Now I'm trying to change in the plant from flowering stage and to remain on vegetative stage. But I'm going to help them with the keiki paste that I have. The 2-in-1 keiki paste. The keiki paste is more than just doing the flower spike or keiki. So remember the condition that Sunny has. I'm going to put, this one has nicely sized shoe already. Okay. I'm going to put some on the basal here, and also basal here. Okay. But now this is not for, and the next step, this is not for beginner. Okay, I'm going to do a little, this is why plant physiology is so fun. Right now, because the apical dominant, okay, it will be even faster and better if I'm trying to damage the apical meristem, which is the growing tips. Okay, so you can use a clean needle or toothpaste. Just do a little bit damping, and actually it's going to damage the apical meristem. Okay, so but don't worry, the apical meristem do grow back, but it's going to take a couple months. So you are temporary, almost like needle acupuncture. Okay, acupuncture is wonderful, but it is not permanent. So the acupuncture that we trigger them, it reduces the apical dominant. The apical dominant means the auxin hormone in the plant is going to decrease it. Then, because I damage the apical meristem temporarily, I'm also going to I need assistant. Oh, right here. I want to make sure they don't have any infection. Okay, so once you don't have any infection, don't, just by doing couple drop, concentrated 5 cents. Okay, any extra one, just throw away. You never want to put the concentrate back to the container. Okay. So now, the temporary upper dominant, we're going to reduce. And then we just disinfect the tips. Now, because we have the khaki paste on the side, so the khaki paste is really going to trigger the cytokinin. Cytokinin is a female hormone. And in this case, because the warm, I'm going to put it into my heating pad. 70 degrees at night, okay? Or if you are in the area, still in the south, where your night temperature is still about 70 degrees at night, okay? You can go down below 65, no problem, but the 70 and above is the ultimate to induce the vegetation stage, okay? So then you didn't grow. And for them to get into that many plant, so next year, you do the same thing. If they try to spike again, I pinch them off.
Aunt Judy is applying Mega Thrive. Can we get a
yeah.
picture of her applying the Mega
Sure.
Thrive to everything?
Okay,
I think
later.
people would find that interesting.
Let's see. Aunt Judy is doing Mega Thrive right now. I did not drop. Yeah, she have a machine. She pump it, and it's okay even if you hit the flower spike or flower bud, no problem. Okay, Mega Thrive is very mild, and you only apply for the foliage only. Okay, beautiful, beautiful. We do that every other month, every other week. I'm sorry. Okay, so it's a lot of work for that plant. You know, my friend who showed me the picture, I say, how long do you do it? 2 years. So all in 2 years, he never let the plant flower. If they try the flower spike, pinch them back. And always put the plant back to the very warm day and warm night. So you artificially let them think that they're still in Amazon or the forests of in Indonesia, where the many species come from. Warm day, warm night, so they will keep cakey until the stage that he wanted. I think he potted up all the way to 5-inch, 6-inch pot, okay? Then it become a rosea plant. Then it didn't flower by going in next blooming season, so you don't push them back away. That's how you do it. So you can do a small project, you know, you can do it like this. So it's kind of fun. In that case, I will cut the flower spike. Okay, let's do it by example. Okay, Phalaenopsis equestris, cut or not cut? No, even though this is not a tiny novelty species, Phalaenopsis equestris, don't cut it as long as the stem is green. Okay, this is Equestris poloric. They just keep on and on. And notice that this is Norman's poloric, a Moncler poloric. It also have a very good branching habit, so it's the genetic. So this is the case. You know, the flower lasts, it's a species, the flower lasts about a week or 10 days, and it's drop out. But as long as the temperature is favorable for them to flower, when I say favorable to flower for this species, is below 85 degrees. Okay, so that is okay. So they didn't grow. So you do not want to cut them off. As long as the plant is nice and vigorous, if the leaf is limp, you probably know the root is not very good, then you do have to cut it. But in this particular case, no. Okay. What about this one here? This is the novelty Phalaenopsis. Okay. This is the one that you do not want to cut it and just let it keep going. Okay, it's wonderful. How about this one here? Now, this is the toss-off case. Okay, you notice that the tip is drawing on the other side. Okay, even though this is a novelty Phalaenopsis, Okay, in this particular situation, I think this is the case that they kind of did not get too hot. Okay, when we have 100 degree for what 7 days, 2 weeks, the house with this novelty in it is they get up to 92 degrees. So this is what happened. So maybe they got tired of it. So in this case, you actually need to do some cutting. If I don't cut it, eventually they're going to dry all the way. But because the fall is here, and this is the situation, you actually will only going to cut our novelty phalaenopsis. Okay, I'm going to cut it so to reduce it. If the weather is good, in this case, you can either do a keiki paste to give the keiki a vegetative plant, or just leave it alone, regular feeding. Yes, the novelty phalaenopsis, when you do this, they will have secondary spike also. So this is your choice. In this particular case, I choose to, because the plant is strong, they got a new leaf coming up. If I don't cut it, they're going to dry all the way down. But I do want to let them I do want to enjoy to have a secondary spike because it's beautiful red. Okay, so this
How
is the
did you
case.
select where to cut it?
You always cut right below, about a couple inches above the note. Okay, you do want to cut it too low because right now you have 1, 2, 3 note here. Okay, the lower the note, the older they are. So most likely they're not going to have a side branch. So now this is the case that you do want to cut the tip off on the novelty to get the secondary spike. Okay. All right. Let's do this. What about this Pinon cherry? Okay. All right. Really bad because the heat we have one day, one night. This has fragrance. It actually has phalaenopsis shuriana in the background. So this should be about minimum 6 flowers per spike. But because the heat, okay, two choice. Depending on where you live. If you live in Seattle, Northeast, where your winter is cooler now, okay, then I will just cut off, okay, because I'm only going to have one flower, okay, I'm going to just top it and then let it have the secondary spike because your winter is cooler, and then the secondary spike on here will be cooler. You're going to have a lot more flower spike, and because you cut off the tip here, a lot of time, especially feed them with Norman's orchid food and Mega Drive, you will have the new spike coming up because of cooler weather. Okay, now
Would you apply any keiki paste to that?
no, if I apply keiki paste to that, instead of now assuming we're talking about the people live in Northeast, we have 60 degrees already. They're cold. If you put a keiki paste in there, if you want to get the keiki, you're not going to get a keiki because the temperature. Okay, unless you want to. Most of the keiki, if you for keiki purpose, you gotta have a warm day and warm night. So, yes, Jeff, unless you put it in the heat pad and with the minimum 12 hours of artificial light, yes. All right, now this is what about this one here? This one here is for me. Okay, I'm in California. We just have another heat wave. Our fall don't usually come for another maybe November. Okay, so this is the case for me. It's not sellable for me. We just one flower. So I'm gonna get another. This is the situation that our staff will actually go in there. And sometimes if we want to delay the season, remember I think last year we talked about some delay the season. Okay. Sometimes we might have too many, okay, to flower at the same time. I will just, maybe cut 100 of them. So this way, I will have the new spike coming up will be about another month. So there will be, this will be cut, by cutting this today, I can have the new spike of the next flowering season for Easter.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah. So this is why this is what I call, and this is what, and there's a time when we took the class, one of my specialty in college is floriculture. Floriculture is to timing of the season. This is how you get poinsettia, that always flower in December, right? Or my mom for a certain season, and that is floriculture. That's a fascinating, but you got a very good apply your plant physiology and so on. So yes, we do cut off the spike. This is the case if you're in a very hot area, Texas, Arizona. Instead of just letting it have one flower, cut the spike off, reserve the energy, and then naturally to have another new spike coming up for this coming next winter and spring. Okay. Here's another one. This is my new hybrid. Oh, I'm going to put this on as a jumper tomorrow. My remake of Tetrapolis alba. Yeah, this is Norman jumper tomorrow. Roger say, what? Tetrapolis by Equestris. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. All right, let it be. Just they keep booming. The season just coming, and then 2 spikes. Just leave it alone. Okay. How about this one here? This is Orchid Affair. Okay, this is the one we sell them in spike before. They kind of 50-50. 50 of them will be like harlequin like this. This is the situation. Look at the mess of the root area. Okay, I already seen it. Okay, I have enough of it. I will just cut out the spike. Use it for cut flower. Here, Jeff, you can give it to Nikki. Okay, and this I will set aside for repotting. Okay, and you know I'm not going to repot. You can go to different podcasts to do to see how we do repotting. How about this? Okay, young plant. Okay, got a new shoot coming up, and this is what Jamie said. Sometimes the plant can bloom themselves to death. Okay, so this is another one that I will cut them entirely. Not even the secondary spot. I will cut it entirely, and then Nikki got another flower. Okay.
Nikki's lucky day.
Then this plant here, I will leave it alone because you still have plenty of space at root bound. Because if you are in the northeast or northwest, where it's cooler, okay, unless you have artificial light, under light, it could be short day for you. So do not repot them. Just leave it alone. Put in a nice warm area. They got a new shoot coming up, and I know I will get all this energy now. You're going to produce a new leaf, all right, for the next 2 months. Then they will reward you with a new spike coming up by November or December. All right. Okay. Okay. Are we doing okay? What about Shuriana? Now this is a tricky one. This is my Shuriana. The one is Sakura King myself. All right. Well, if you have this is the case, it's one by one. Something like this, I will leave it, but in flower. Okay, but this one here, they all from seed. And I know this one will have more maximum, maybe just 2 or 4 flowers. So I will just 1, 2, and 3. I'm gonna cut off the spike and leave the other 2. I can sell them for the website. But this is the case is why. Because the leaf is, I will rather see them put out another leaf. Okay. and then because the weather we have in California, it's gonna be warm day, warm night. The plant is not gonna produce more than 6 flowers for me. Now, or so you have either way. I can also cook cakey paste onto this because I have warm day, warm night right now, naturally. If I do that, then I'm gonna have another cakey on the top of this because Shiraya genetically love to do that. So if they have genetically do that anyway in Manila, Philippines, because Shiraya is from the mountain of the Philippines. So when they actually people live in the Manila, the capital is the sea level, they usually don't flower as freely as in the mountain because they don't have that temperature difference. So they get a lot of cakey. But since I do not know the quality of the flower, because these are from seeding, so I'm not interested to propagate another plant. But if you have a Shiraya that from your collection, you know it's very good, okay, and your summer, if you're in the south, like sunny, okay, it's really warm and high humidity. If you want to propagate your price Shiraya, yes, you can put a Norman's Ottoman cakey paste and just put it on the tip here, especially a tip here, okay. But these two here, I'm not going to let them flower, and because I should have a good 6 weeks, minimum 6 to 8 weeks, a warm day, long, and then because that is long enough, put out a beautiful leaf, okay, on them. All right, and then I also going to trigger, delay the spike. So I'm letting them the time, the next 4 to 6 weeks, to have an extra leaf. So then when they have to do spiking in December for their natural flowering season in March, April, they're going to be spectacular versus just a 3 flower or 4 or 6 flowers, okay? And luckily, they still beautiful leaf. And this is also the perfect timing right now to mount them. If you like to mount Shiraya right now, do it now. You still have, this is the perfect timing because it's not too, I do not recommend in the middle of summer because you tend to have more problem with disease. But right now it's really nice for most of the area of the United States, okay? How are we doing so far? Okay, what about standard type? Okay, this is the one we named after a friend. Oh my God, this is last almost like 4 to 6 months, long time. Okay, then I would, and this is what happened with the heat. They really stretch out the spike. And because it gets so tall and it got really hot, you only get this much spike flower count. So I don't want you to have a second spike. I just cut them off. Okay. And you can get another spike. So that way I can make sure the plant is concentrated on put on new leaf for next year. And the next year's season, my experience tell me it'll be it should be flower for Mother's Day. Okay. All right. And this is the one we named after France. It's beautiful, beautiful cotton candy pink. Unless I cut it, they're gonna flower they might flower all the way to December. But it's no. I want to make sure the plant have a new leaf coming out, so you know they want to make sure they put out a new leaf. I do not want to waste the energy on them. Okay, so this is the case. Okay, if you are in the East Coast, you can actually, and the plant is strong like this, you can let this, they're not going to put a new leaf as much unless you have bottom heating and under light. Then you can cut it the secondary, cut it lower here for secondary spike. But for me in California, I'm just going to make sure I'm going to preserve the plant and give you a cut flower to your friend. Okay, then I'm going to have, for the standard type, I'm going to have 2 very beautiful standard type for Mother's Day next year. Okay. What about when I would prepare for the show earlier today? Okay. This is the perfect example if you can see this. Okay.
That's
this is
weird.
this is the phenomenon that this is yellow. A lot of yellow novelty phalaenopsis do that. They were trying to have a flower spike. Okay. And because the weather, we get into middle of summer, warm day and warm night. And remember that a lot of these species have arboreans in the background. Okay, so they were now them trying to form keiki themselves. But I think they're confused again because last week when we have a cool weather, if I do have a continued cool weather, they might become a flower spike again. So this is what this is a perfect classic example of what the temperature can do to the flower spike. Okay, so what do you want to do with this? Because this is the novelty phalaenopsis, this is a perfect one to induce for multiple plants. So I'm going to help them, okay? Help them with our keiki paste, okay? 2-in-1 keiki paste, because I'm in California, it's warm, okay? And I don't want them confused. So I'm going to put some in the base here, and also add on top here too. So this will ensure I will get some keiki, maybe on the top here, and also at the basil. In fact, I'm going to pinch it off. Oh, perfect. Now they have a scar. They have a tissue, a wound tissue. The tissue open here is actually easier for them to absorb the keiki paste on this. Okay, so I'm going to measure, and I will have the keiki from here, and possible more basil from the side here. Okay. All right. And last 3, but not the last one. Last 2 here. Okay. Good. What about this? Let me see this one here. This is Minto Sun, one of the spotted one, very similar to that Phalaenopsis javian. Guess what? A lot of this is novelty. It already have a secondary spike already. In this case, do not cut it because since it's a novelty, the plant is actually very healthy, and on the pot, but I really need to water them and feed them more better. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure and to hit them with Mega Drive. But the tip here is having continued flower spike. This has been flower for about 12 months already. Okay, so leave it alone. The green tip indicate they are going again. On the top of that, they have a secondary spike coming up. So this is the case. You also want to leave it alone.
So that spike is very active.
Yes, very active, yeah. What about this 2 here? This is one of my signature piece, Norman's yellow butterfly. Okay, it's really tired. Now, I know the genetic of this one here. In this case, for me, I would because this one here has a big yellow in the background. So I'm going to cut it to have a secondary spike. Okay, so then I will have this for Valentine's Day. Okay, because I do have a shortage of yellow color or the big lip type for Valentine's Day. So if you have, many of you have this variety, wonderful, it's very long lasting. It's called Norman Yellow Butterfly, compact leaf, almost done flower. Then I'm gonna cut this. Okay, here's a knot here. Every knot in there have a dormant flower bud. So I'm gonna cut it. You don't want to cut it too close. Okay, a couple inches. Then the upper diamond has been reduced, and minimum 1, depending on how you feed your orchid. Okay, if you follow our schedule, 1 or possible 2 will have a branching coming up. Okay, so this is actually, I have also can do it cut all the way down, but it takes 4 months. If I cut it right here, it's only 2 months. So I can time it. So in 2 months and a half, I will have more flower available. Okay. So now this is the season. Many of you are outside putting orchid from outside. Okay, so this is the time to look at all your phalaenopsis, whether it's standard or novelty. Okay, there's no one shot effect for everything. Look at the plant one by one. Make your own decision depending on where you live. Okay. Okay. So this will conclude this week's podcast. Sorry.
Yep, drink there.
Hmm?
You want something to drink?
Air quality. We will not have.
So for the next 3 weeks, we're not going to have podcast, and then we'll pick it up again in I think the 3rd or 4th weekend of October, because we have a Huntington show. You guys have a wedding that everybody is going to, and then I'm on vacation. So we will see you guys all again in about 3 weeks. So enjoy your time off and go back. A lot of videos are posted on YouTube. You can go back and rewatch the videos on YouTube. And also, they're all in this group, Norman's Private Reserve. So you can go back and catch up on some of the videos you may have missed. And we'll see you guys in 3 weeks. Have fun.